All right, so Brad Connors here, as you guys know, with FDC Plan on Purpose. And with me today, I have Jordan Milbreth, who is part of the Prairie Plans Group. You might know his dad, David. And not that you have to live in the shadows all the time. That's not fair, Jordan. You can stand on your own. It's my fault. Hey, just wanted to spend just a couple quick minutes with you and get an update on FDC Plan on Purpose. You guys were one of the first offices that we rolled this out to. We've even implemented some changes like debt and charity and different things like that we've instituted on the site. But I just wanted to, have a conversation with you real quick about what you like best with using FDC. And then has it taken you a little bit to get in the use of it? Kind of what's your, because everybody just doesn't start out the gates and use it for every single meeting. It takes some kind of ramp up time. But kind of what's your take? What's been going on in your mind, Jordan, with the tool?
Yeah. So thanks for having me. We've really enjoyed using FDC, and me in particular. The best part of what I found about the program is it's kind of its own built-in agenda for my meetings. Whereas before I was kind of creating the agenda, we were relying on old notes in our CRM to go back and find out, right? Because it's not that we weren't doing this for our clients already. Mm-hmm. It's just that, the data or information might be scattered throughout our CRM system. And the nicest part for me was just being able to consolidate that all into one place, and effectively communicate and show my clients that on one simple solution, that here's the plan, here's what we're still working on, and here's what we're talking about today. So using it as an agenda template for me really helped with my meetings.
Yeah. How long a time are you spending on it? Does each client depend? Are you spending 20 minutes in there or a whole meeting, or how have you kind of put some parameters around that?
Yeah, no, that's so actually when I first started using it, I kind of went all in on it. And we were using it for the majority of the meeting. I would say since then, I've actually cut back on the amount of time that I spend in the meetings. I bring it up, I explain what it is. But to be honest, when I first started, I was kind of going through too many bullet points at once. Okay. Because all of them are really important to the client, and it's not that we don't get a whole lot of time to talk every year. Maybe you're talking to them once a year. Well, they're important topics to cover, but I found out that it was almost too much information to cover with your client in one meeting. So I found myself using it a little bit less, but focusing on maybe 1 to 3 areas for the here and now, and then covering more later, maybe next year and the years after, and just kind of working off it. And I tell my clients that is, hey, this is the program that we're using for our planning software. Just want you to know that we have everything. And I'll go through the meeting beforehand because we're kind of implementing this with a lot of clients that we've had already for many years. So we know most of the information. So I'll go through before my meeting and kind of fill in what I can, excuse me, and then kind of go with my client and say, okay, this is what I have. This is what we have for your plan. Is this still accurate? But we'll pick just a couple things to talk about each meeting.
Yeah. It's a journey. You make really good insight there. It's a journey, and it's nothing that needs to be completed all in meeting one. Client just understands that you're asking those questions. And it's a journey that you're just kind of checking things off as you go. And it could take years, but, starting out those meetings and having a positive focus and the avatar. Tell me about that. How has that been? Has that been fun? Has it been weird to get used to have them pick an avatar? How about that?
Yeah. Well, at first, a lot of people don't think that way, right? They just kind of go throughout their day-to-day lives, and they think about retirement, and they know that they have to save for retirement, things like that. But when you actually make them sit there and pick an avatar, it's like, okay, what do you actually want to do in retirement? Money aside, what do you want to do? What is one of your goals? So it's led to a good icebreaker to start the whole conversation with everything. I will say that a lot of times I have to share my avatar before they'll share that, because especially when you got a husband and wife sitting there, they'll kind of look at each other and they might have different thoughts or different avatars, and it's like, okay, well, here's what I want. And then I let them know, hey, by the way, my avatar is golfing. And I said, by the way, my wife's is not golfing. So then they each feel a little more free to pick their own avatar, but that's been a really good thing to lead off the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like you're getting in a routine, which is great. I think the hardest thing I've seen advisors is just changing their meeting and getting what fits for them. And it sounds like you've been able to make that adjustment and then not do it all at once. Just pick out the beneficiaries. Or what are the top 2 or 3 things that you see kind of over and over again with clients that you see you reviewing with them?
Yeah, we tend to review risk, the risk score, and the risk that they're taking in their accounts, especially in years like this year when the markets are down. But I've seen it over the last year or so. We just start to review that every year, their performance, maybe their cash flow in retirement. And then we check the other boxes too, but a lot of them are things that are important, but maybe not things that have to be reviewed every year unless a life event happens.
Right. Yeah, and each person's different. Depends on their phase of life and what they're going through, if they're selling a business or whatever that is. So that's great.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of last question is, using this tool, this is a little self-serving for me to ask this, but using this tool, do you think you run a better meeting when you have this tool? You talked about the agenda. I mean, overall, is it working?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And when I have a way to quantify what we're doing, I tell my clients, well, we've been doing this all along. Now I just put it on paper and put it in front of you. And I feel like when they see that too, and even when I send follow-up notes to my clients, when it's on paper there in front of them, it helps solidify my relationships with them. And, when we cover everything, it's to me, it's not like they're going to go to another advisor and do this all over again. It's like we covered so much information. I know a lot about your situation. I'm here to help. And when they can see that on paper, it's really helped solidify my relationships.
Yeah, you become that trusted advisor. I always say fees matter in an absence of value. You're providing value and showing it them client facing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing some time with me today and giving me some insight on kind of how things are working for you.
Yeah, thank you, Brad.